Test, test, test.
Welcome back to the Calgary Oval, where no more individual distances today. Today is the newest event in the Olympic repertoire in long track speed skating. It is the mass start. There will be a bunch of people on the ice. We got a long list of starters. They will go, let's have a look here, 16 laps. There will be some intermediate sprints along the way, and then a sprint at the finish line as well. So it's the melding of worlds, almost like short track and long track are coming together in one. Up first on the ice is the men mass start. There are 23 skaters here. They're combining the seniors and the juniors. Got a few races to do here. Just getting sorted out. It's completely different from anything you might have seen in long track speed skating. This is going to be 16 laps. Intermediate sprints after 4, 8, and 12 for points. Just get ready for anything to happen. Anything that can will happen here. There are our gentlemen lined up ready to go. Helmets obviously for safety in the pack like that. The numbers will also help identify who's who for yours truly. Try to figure out who's making the moves, who's falling off the back. Pretty much all the same guys we've seen over the last few days involved here. Skaters from Canada, Norway, France, Spain, and Denmark. Looks like we are just about ready to go. As I mentioned, 16 laps. Some of these guys do have similar skin suits, so it'll be the number on the helmet that will let you keep track of who's where and who's who at home. Something of an anticlimactic start as the whole track is now open, including that warm-up lane. The gun goes and off they go a little bit slowly. It's a much more tactical race than simply doing a two-up race. You're not against the clock so much here, you're just against everybody else. And that's helmet 384. That's Christopher Fiola out front right now, keeping a nice steady pace. Making its debut at Pyeongchang next month. The likes of Evanie Blondet, the Canadian, will be a one to watch should she be named to that one. She's had some mass start experience. Little fake there move from Magnan Notland, trying to catch some guys napping a little bit. Looked like he had a little wry smile on his face as he looked behind him. See if anyone else was twitchy. And 14 laps to go. Looks like a move is coming out of the back. There's a group of 4 skaters forming a bit of a train there. .277 is Sam Pollock. out of Alberta. 268 is Christian Liebzeit of Manitoba. As 4 guys have broken away here. There is the bell for the intermediate sprint. There are 4 guys broken away a little bit, trying to get those first points. 3:48, and there's Simon Coots as well. 2 skaters have joined them. That's Inigo Vidondo who's joined up there. Looks like Vidondo might have gotten it. 5 points for first, 3 points for second, and 1 for third in that intermediate sprint. Looks like Christian Liebzeit was third. Sam Pollock second after that first intermediate sprint, so they get to pick up a few points each. Still a group of 5 broken away, so much more tactical. You can let guys break away and get them to the finish, but then you leave yourself a lot of work, and it's for the guys who break away, can they hang on that long out front? Ten laps to go. Still a little bit before the next sprint. That's 265. Oliver Lindenskov, the Danish skater, trying to break away a little bit. Being watched by the pack. It's strung out a little bit. When they're sort of strung out like that in a long line, you know the pace is picked up a little bit. There's the bell for the lap. Lindenskov. Coots. Actually, it was William Saullier, I believe, who took the points. As we come around for the second sprint lap. Lindenskov sort of stands up a little bit. He takes that one. Coots comes in second. Thomas Melin in third. Now it sort of bunches back up, and it's a waiting sort of game. Almost like in cycling when there's a bunch sprint, everyone's sort of watching to see who's going to take it out. And there's 376. That is Caleb Muller from Alberta, the distance skater who ups the tempo a little bit. Time really not a factor in this race. It's all about points. It's all about just beating the guys around you. Bunched up a little bit. Sort of the waiting game is in effect here now. Out front there right now, leading the way. You don't really want to be. You want to be sitting in the draft behind a guy, saving some energy for when it matters. There's the bell lap for another sprint lap. Looks like that is, I believe it's 386. Hubert Marcotte taking this one out a little bit. Coming up to 4 laps to go, and then it's the final sprint, and then we'll have a look at the points. And this one's going to be close. They're going for this one. 285, 386. Is it 386 is Marcotte? It's 265, pardon me. No, it's 85. Antoine Gagnon-Lamarche. 3:84. Picked up the third one. That's Chris Fiola. 3 laps to go to the final sprint in this one. Bit of a breakaway going now. Gonna have to watch this. It's the decisive moment as the breakaway gets out. Coming inside the final few minutes, 3:81 is Magna Notland, the Norwegian leading the breakaway. Being marked, 2 guys sitting in the draft there. That is Chris Fiola again. Is this maybe the decisive breakaway? The pack now having to do some work to chase it down. Picking up the tempo. There is the bell. 1 lap to go. It looks like these 3 guys will get into the points, will lead the way. It's Chris Fiola leading the way. It's down to 2-man breakaway as some other skaters drop off. Those are the past ones. 3:84, 3:85, Chris Fiola. And Nicholas Hiller coming to the line. Fiola's gonna, looks like he's gonna take it at the line. Eases up, Hiller gets second points. Now we'll just have to sort of sort this out, figure it out. The dulcet tones of Leo Landry. XLR plug for this? Could hear everyone's smart ass remark. All the people swearing at the ladies mass start. Now getting set to go. This one's going to be 10 laps, and I'm joined now by Leo Landry. Leo, thanks for joining us again. Fill us in a little on the mass start. We had a little taste with the men.
Absolutely. Mass start, an event unique in long track speed skating where all the athletes are racing on the ice at the same time. First one across the line takes the crown. So it's the ladies here all grouped up as the referee gives them instructions. The rules for the mass start race are that they are allowed to use the entire ice surface, meaning they can skate right on the rope, tight on the very inside of the oval. The skaters must do a neutral lap to begin the race, meaning the first lap, no skater is allowed to leave from the pack. They must stay together. After that, the gun will go, and then they race the rest of the way. If any skater is lapped, they are disqualified and have to stand up and glide on the outside and out of the way. So as these ladies get ready to go.
So this one is a 10-lap race, Leo. So in the regular mass start that we just saw, there were 3 intermediate sprints after 4, 8, and 12 laps. In a women's race, in the 10-lap race, do they still do these intermediate sprints along the way?
I believe there will be 2 intermediate sprints at the 6 lap and 3 lap marks.
Looks like we are just about set to go. Gonna be tough to. We always track the helmets. They have the numbers on top that indicates their transponders.
Skaters featured in this race: Véronique Derry, Alexa Scott, Gabrielle Jelinek, Olivia Scott, Cassidy Peterson, Gabrielle Sanson, Rosanne Grenier, Danielle Dumouchel, Jasmine Chase, Sierra Johnson, Rose La Liberté Roy, Olivia Moyes, Kirsten Hagen, Laurence Paquet, Amanda Mitchell, and Anna Bourgeois.
Looks like we are just about set to get things started. It was fun to see some of them going into the start position for the men's race, and then they just sort of go off at a saunter, and some were just standing and went off. So, and for anyone new watching this, there are little differences that are just making it a little more enjoyable. See, they're in the start position, and they're off
and
like a herd of turtles.
Slowly crawl off the line. The race doesn't truly start in earnest for another lap, as they will now skate a warm-up lap.
Yeah, it's almost similar. I always equate it as a guy who's done some cycling in my life, Leo. It's you chase down every breakaway. There's a lot of strategy involved in this one that's different.
There's a lot of strategy involved in the mass start, and it is, compared to cycling, a quite short race. And so the breakaways are very often successful. Skaters have to be on their toes all the time. To watch out, because sometimes if the right skater gets the breakaway, they could last for the distance.
And there's the gun.
And the race has begun, but no one wants to lead.
It's now just a matter of watching to see if anyone wants to go. Leave it up to everyone wants to draft. Nobody wants to be in front.
Takes about 30% more effort to lead and break wind with no one in front of you. And that's why all the skaters were jockeying to avoid the lead.
And it's Jasmine Chase, 251, who's taken up the impetus there to drive on the train. Right behind her.
And this is such a short race. We have 9 to go. 9 to go. It's Chase, Dumouchel, and Hagen at the head of the race.
Still, nobody really want to take up the tempo.
At these early stages of the race, watch the skaters as they swing wide in the straightaway. Look at that. All skaters all over the place across the ice. They're all jockeying for position. No one wants to lead, but they all want to be in that top 3 or 4 position on the ice in order to respond to any moves.
That's 3:38 in front. That is Olivia Scott out of Ontario. And I guess that's why they introduced they have the intermediate sprint, so that it's not just everyone watching each other until the finish line. It is a race after all.
It does add a little bit of spice in the middle of the race. The first three across the line are the first three in the final point rankings, but a skater who wins all the intermediate sprints would come fourth ahead of anyone else at the line.
And there is the bell lap, and it's number 275, Anna Bourgeois, picking up the tempo. There we go. Now we see things getting really strung out as the speed picks up.
So she's making an early move. Let's see if it was too early, as some skaters used her draft to pass her on the backstretch.
2-5-1. That's Jasmine Chase coming around now in front. It's going to be a big sprint to the line. There are a couple of skaters in the mix.
This is the intermediary sprint in the middle of the race.
And who's taking that one? It's Olivia Scott, number 338,
So
the Ontario skater.
5 points go to Olivia Scott. Jasmine Chase takes 3. Danielle Dumuchel 1.
Now everybody stands up again. I guess there are two things you could do. You can wait for the next sprinter if someone gets the initiative to just try to push it even forward and break away and win those next sprint on their own.
Absolutely. You notice the entire pack sped up as they entered that sprint lap. Not all of them went for the lap, but they all had to speed up because sometimes skaters will just keep sprinting right after the sprint lap and then build a big lead over the rest.
It's 279, Gabrielle Jelinek making a move on the outside.
When they come around, they will have 3 to go very quickly into the tail end of the race. Notice the skaters all wearing helmets. They're wearing gloves, neck guards, shin pads, all protective equipment, because there's lots of blades flying around out there.
282 coming around with the lead. That's Danielle Dumuchel. Looks like she had a quick little word. She wanted maybe someone else to take the pull at the front.
Danielle Dumuchel is in a tough place right now, sitting at the front this close to the end of the race. If she gives up the lead, she risks falling to the very back of the pack and missing the sprint. But if she sticks up front, she might waste too much energy, as looks like we've got a move on the inner lane.
It still is Dumuchel there, 282. Spending a lot of energy there in open air, trying to tuck in behind. Looks like she does get a body to follow as there's a little bit of jostling in various positions around the ice.
Olivia Scott making a move. She's now leading the pack with a lap and a half to go.
Olivia Scott, who picked up a couple points there earlier on.
This is where the strategy comes in. When do you start your sprint?
And there's the bell.
All the skaters dropping in an arm. They're opening it up.
There's Gabrielle Jelinek, 279 in front now. When it's really strung out like that, you know the tempo's being picked up. It's a matter of, do you sprint too early or are you leaving it too late?
Her teammate Véronique Dédy right there. Quebec's 1-2 in the last corner.
Shoulder to shoulder they go, unlike anything you see in long track speed skating.
That's Dumuchel making a play at the line. It's going to be close.
Looks like it is 279. That's Gabrielle Jelinek who scores the big points at the end.
So, final standings, unofficial, of course. Gabrielle Jelinek takes first place at the line. Olivia Scott in second. Véronique Dédy comes up third. And Jasmine Chase, on the strength of her Prime lap win, takes fourth place. It shows the importance of those intermediary sprints.
Because outside, I guess out of the top 3, you then go next to who picked up those little points on the race within the race.
Absolutely, but solid performance. Smart race from the 2 Quebecers, Gabrielle Jelinek, Véronique Dédy, sitting in the pack the entire way, only leading in the last lap when they sprinted for it.
Sadly, we have coaches meetings and coaches scratch skaters and coaches meetings. We originally had 18 skaters at this race. We're down to 10. And a field of 10 in this one.
Junior men going, and this is the neutral lap off the start. Well, they'll just sort of coast around and get the starting gun, and the real racing will be underway.
It is a small field. We had a number of scratches. So we don't have the full list of names of skaters who aren't racing. But they are now underway in their neutral lap. Skaters must skate one lap where no one is allowed to leave the pack. So a very neutral, easy speed. And the gun goes again. The race is underway for real now. Leading off the bat, Noah Bauma.
Number 384 on his helmet. He's actually trying to pull away from the field on his own a little bit now. Now it's already strung out as they try to chase him down. Different strategy in this race, Leo, where the women were more watching. In this one, they're trying to weed guys out already by picking up the tempo.
Absolutely. Bauma obviously determining that a fast race would benefit him. He thinks he has the legs, so he's going out quick and early, hoping the pack will follow him, but no one's taking the bait. And there you go, he stands up and he'll wait up for them.
Max Krabben was coming around the outside to close things down, and Krabben just continues on as he passes through, and now Bauma suddenly snaps to attention and tries to close that break down.
Skaters have to be careful to not accelerate and decelerate too often during these races. Those little bursts of energy and speed are what really sap the legs for the final sprint.
Now we see a few skaters standing up as the bunch forms back up again.
They swing wide in the corner. No one wants to lead. They're playing mind games here.
Bit of moves all over the track here as guys jockey for position rather than really trying to break away.
Two Saskatchewan athletes now pulling up into the front of the pack.
I can see Jordan Stevenson there leading the way right now.
Marc-André Doyon right with him.
Now, is there much of a teamwork effort here where a teammate might try to break away and another tries to just sort of slow the group down from the front as he breaks away?
Very often skaters will work together in this event, particularly when they're from the same country on the world stage, or in a Canadian context, the same province.
Looks like guys are already sort of getting weeded out, falling off the back a little bit. Group of four forming at the front. And I believe it is still Marc-André Doyon at the front.
And that was the sprint lap, very tame sprint lap. Marc-André Doyon took 5 points at the line, Orlowski 3, Bauma 1. That will help them in their final standings, but we have 4.5 to go here, this 10-lap mass start race. Eric Orlowski taking over the head of the race.
One ladies race to go after
Skater from BC on the front. That's Eric Orlowski leading the way.
Noah Bauma sitting in a sweet spot just right behind him in second place. Exactly where he wants to be at the tail end of these laps.
There's a little bit of bumping, a little bit of some of that stuff you see more in short track. These guys jostle around.
We've seen short track skaters be among the most successful on the international stage in this event. The likes of Evgeny Blondin winning a number of medals.
Still Eric Orlowski at the front. Couple laps to go. This one is going 10 laps.
Pack mostly still together.
Nobody really upping the tempo, looking like a few people are just settling in, hoping for a bunch sprint.
It looks like we've got a move on the outside. That is Noah Bauma.
Dakota Rule is also there, I believe. 3.84.
So Bauma making an early move 2 laps out. See if it's too soon. There's a lot of confidence gritting his teeth.
It's 3.84, as he did point out. That is Bauma.
Eric Orlowski right on him as well. And we've got a fall in the middle of the straightaway with 1 to go.
That was Bauma going down. And it's Orlowski now on his own. Can he stay away? Looks like nobody's really able to close the gap. He's on his own.
He's looking strong. The race will be for second place.
There's 2:49 behind him, I believe. That is Zachary Lacroix.
So Noah Bauma
Orlowski
going down. Orlowski's going to make
comfortably over the line as there's a race for second. That's Doyon there. Little fist pump. Looks like he gets second.
And Cédric Brunet from Quebec was third across the line.
There's the jostling there.
And Zachary Lacroix was in a good position there. Third place with 500 meters to go. Got tripped up.
There was the gap, and Orlowski off on his own. Lacroix left chasing. Bauma left on the ice.
So your final standings for that junior men's 10-lap mass start. Eric Orlowski in first place. Marc-André Doyon en deuxième. Cédric Brunet en troisième. Et Zachary Lacroix en quatrième.
So that is the mass start competition we have for the day. If I'm not mistaken, 4 races. We've actually only had 3 of them, so there might still be there is still 1 to go if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to quickly take a little pause here and come back for 1 more in just a few minutes.
I'm not sure, is that Yeah, it's the junior C. Because the competition's moving on and everyone's getting tired, so just
Down he goes.
Okay, the ladies make their way now to the 500-meter start to get the final instructions from the referee. Then they'll move up to the 1,000-meter finish line. They get the commands to begin their neutral line.
Final mass start. We have a senior and junior ladies mass start here coming up. 10 laps. Smaller field here. Looks like we have 10 skaters to go. 10-lap event. There's the one neutral lap as well.
One of the skaters almost going down as she came up to the line.
We are off cleanly though. Since it's the neutral lap, it's a anticlimactic gun there as they all get ready and then just sort of go off at a leisurely pace for the first lap.
This is a 10-lap race. The first lap is a neutral lap, so meaning no skater is allowed to take off from the pack. They must stay together. Ashley Hanna leading the way through the first lap.
3:44, Lily Weidman's tucked right in there in second, soaking in a little bit of that draft.
We'll see if we get a breakaway in this mass start.
And there is the gun. Nobody really reacts to this one.
As they enter that corner wide, no one wanting to lead. It's a good opportunity here for a skater to take off and sprint ahead. See who makes the first move.
Oh, there's a little shove there.
They're all biding their time.
Everybody just wants to tuck in behind everybody else. Nobody really wants to be at the front at the moment. It's Brooke Braun out of British Columbia in front.
So Braun setting the pace with 8 to go. And now the pack starting to string out, everyone finding their place.
Braun at the front, just sort of upping the tempo a little bit. Still kind of bunched up. Two separate trains have formed there. Someone off to the side, in addition to the main one. That is 329, Vanessa Coutu coming up the outside from Saskatchewan.
We saw last race the two Saskatchewan athletes working together to propel Marc-André Doyon
It's Ashley
to a podium
Hanna.
finish.
Ashley Hanna from Manitoba, who's out in front right now.
Two Saskatchewan skaters in this race, Anna Commercial and Vanessa Coutu. Let's see if they work together.
And there is. It looks like Coutu going off the front there. As the tempo just inches up a little bit more, stringing things out a tiny little bit.
As they come around, they will enter the sprint lap. This is an intermediary sprint, preem lap. Helps sort out the final standings at the end of the race as Vanessa Coutu opening a tiny gap. Let's see if she can hang on to that. Ashley Hanna sitting right behind her. Oh, and a bit of shoving in the back.
There is. It's probably more intense intermediate sprint that we've seen so far from the races. A couple racers going for it here. It's all strung out, Leo.
See if this opens up here in the final 100 meters. Coutu still going for it. But look out on the outside. We have another Manitoba skater.
2:71.
That was Emma Javra just sneaking in the outer lane, grabbing the 5 points on that preem lap. Vanessa Coutu took second, Ashley Hanna third. So 5 points, 3 points, and 1 points respectively.
So now
to those women.
everybody sits up. I see Javra having a little bit of a word there. Just a nice little chat as things get off the simmer a little bit, cool down.
Absolutely. The only thing on these skaters' mind now is that last lap. They're trying to jockey for position, set themselves up well to sprint at the right moment. Sprint too early, you run out of energy. Sprint too late, you might miss the finish.
We'll see if anyone has a different idea in mind and decide to jump the gun a little bit early and try to pull away into a breakaway. It looks for now everybody is composed to just sort of settle in, look at each other, and see who wants to take up the impetus.
That list on your left-hand side of the screen will update every lap.
Javra still leading the way after taking the sprint. Kennedy Charles slips into second there after that one with a couple laps still to go.
The entire pack is still together. They've slowed right down. It is anyone's race at this point. We've seen in some of the other races skaters who have bided their time, sat well deep in the pack, worked their way up in the final couple laps. Let's see if that happens here.
Lily Weidman hasn't really, she wasn't in the sprint. She's just sort of steadily been at the front, soaking up the draft. Look at her position, Leo. She's been sort of always right up there.
Absolutely. She is setting herself up well. Smart race from Lily Weidman so far. In second place with a lap and a half left to go. Exactly where she wants to be.
Still Javra on the lead. She's been out there for a while, taking in the full brunt of the wind. Lily Weidman right behind her. Another Manitoba skater. That's Kennedy Charles tucking in there in third.
As the pack starts to string out, as the speed's picking up.
There is the bell.
Weidman's making a move. 500 meters to go. Is it too early?
It's Charles right behind Weidman. As the tempo increases, Weidman in front. Charles still getting a bit of the draft there.
And Weidman having a little slip, but she's kept it together.
That is in third place. Believe it's Annika Marshall. No, it's Molly Johnson, 281. Now
As they open up for the final sprint.
Here comes Weidman trying to take it to the line. Did she go too early? It's just nicked at the line there. Looks like it's Kennedy Charles taking it. Weidman second, Molly Johnson third.
So your final standings at the end of the senior, junior ladies mass start 10-lap race. Kennedy Charles took first place at the line. Lily Weidman right behind her. Molly Johnson rounded off the top three. Emma Javra took fourth. Vanessa Coutu fifth on the strength of their sprint laps.
And that is the end of the Canada Cup competition here in Calgary. We're going to, at least for today, coming up in about 2 hours, we'll have the Canadian Single Distance Championships long track team selections, men's and women's 1500. Some big names going to be out in that one, so we'll be back in about 2 hours' time. That's 5 Mountain, 7 Eastern, and 4 Pacific. We'll be back there in just a little bit, so I hope you join us later.